Afternoon, everybody. Bill Jeppy here, Insurance Beer Snob for Kimberly Bassel. Looking like a snob today. It's a Friday, but yet I got a shirt and tie on. Morning full of appointments out there. And this is actually a welcome beer today because it's Friday and I need it. Coming to you after a week on the West Coast with my wife. It was a great trip. Now we're back in action at the workplace this week. But last week we were out and we did a little tour of from Seattle down to San Francisco. It was a great trip. We had a fun time. I was able to stop at some breweries, which was a great time for me. Just a few things that I brought back. I shipped some beers back to myself. We stopped at Cascade Brewing Company in Portland and also Deschutes in Portland. And then we, getting into California, some of the California beers that I brought back from Russian River and Alpine. It's a collaboration beer from Alpine. So I shipped some stuff back to myself to enjoy here, and I actually have one today from Russian River. It's one of my favorite breweries, really well known for some of their IPAs, Pliny the Elder and Pliny the Younger. And this IPA right here, Blind Pig, which is their staple, traditional, regular IPA, 6% alcohol, really the beer the brewery started with. The founder started with. So it's a real treat to get this one back here on the East Coast via shipment and give you a review on it. And what I'm going to do right now is get it cracked open and I'll be right back with you. You've got a picture of the pour there. It's a beautiful beer. I mean, this is what, very, very clean IPA should look like. It's pretty much the epitome of what the class, the style of beer should look like, in my opinion. I do like a filtered beer. Some people like a cloudy, hazier IPA. Again, crystal clear, yellowy orange color, bright white head. When I poured it, I probably had about a half finger to a finger ahead. Nice carbonation off the bottom. What I haven't done here a lot is, because I haven't reviewed a lot of IPAs, and even though it's one of my favorite styles of beer, is talk about freshness dating. A lot of the breweries now are almost, required to do it by their consumer, me being one of them. When you're drinking IPAs, you want to drink them as fresh as possible, and this is no exception. I actually bought this at the brewery last week on Wednesday, which was the 5th of September, and it was actually bottled the day that I picked it up, on the 5th of September. So this bottle is only about a week, 9 days old, and that's amazing right there. Start looking at the dates on the bottles when you pick up a 6-pack. That really does something to the beer. If it's an IPA or a double IPA, you want it as fresh as possible. 90 days is usually a threshold. So look at 3 months out, and if it's past that, it's probably past its prime. The hops die out, the malts come up. You want to taste an IPA or a pale ale as hoppy and fresh as possible. So that's my little diatribe on that. Getting back to this beer, amazing color, smell-wise. West Coast IPAs are known for being really fruity and piney and just crazy hop bombs. This is a really middle-of-the-road West Coast IPA. A lot of times you get a lot more aggressive hopping. Their Pliny the Elder, which is a double IPA for them, a little higher alcohol, is a big hop bomb too. This is more middle-of-the-road. You get a lot of that citrus, that fruit, that peach, that overripe peach, some pineapple, but then you also get that pine. That really nice, almost like a pine tree freshness in there. And you can smell the malt, the grain they use. It's American two-roll, caramel, the ones that are primarily in to get these lighter colored beers are those two you're always going to see. Hop varietals used in this, it really doesn't say on the bottle. I believe it's Centennial, Cascade, maybe a little bit of Simcoe. I forget some of the other ones. I'm probably leaving them out because I've done some clone recipes of this in my home brewing and never really hit it on the head. But I'll give it a taste here for you. It's just a delicious beer, and it's 6% alcohol. You can have, a couple of these and not really feel terrible about it, and still be okay. It's just, you get nice pine, bitterness, hop bitterness on the front of the tongue, really, really piney. It's not overly bitter. When it moves into the middle of the palate, you get more of that fruity varieties that I was talking about. The pineapple, the mango, the overripe peach. I always use overripe peach because it seems like it comes out of these West Coast IPAs a lot. Some people say papaya, that kind of stuff. I mean, it all kinds of goes together for me. Then the malt kind of comes in, and that's what makes it more balanced. So it's not overly bitter. You need that grain bill to kind of balance it out and make it more smoother and drinkable, not crazy bitter. Close of the palate, dry. Like majority of IPAs are dry. You're going to get some of that residual bitterness that's in there. Only on the back end, that bitterness is more of that pine, kind of what you tasted at the front end. Just a really clean beer. their other beer, Pliny the Elder, is much like this one, just a little more hopped up, a little more alcohol. You might not be able to pound as many of them, but I mean, it just, it speaks for itself. If you're ever out in the area, this is actually in Santa Rosa, California, right outside of Sonoma County, wine country, Russian River, right there. A lot of wine bottles you'll see with Russian River. And the brewmaster, I mentioned him earlier, Vinny, his first name. This was one of the beers he first started with. He actually came with a winemaking background, and I'm searching for the name of the champagne. He sold for Crobel and got into making beer and started making IPAs, and then really got into barrel aging beers and doing stuff with American Wild Ales. And that's a whole different ballgame, and some of these bottles over here are them, and eventually I'll start reviewing them. But that's really what Russian River is known for, is their wild ales and a few of the IPAs that they make. But he's really cautious about shipping IPAs east because of that bottle dating. He wants people to consume his beer as fresh as possible. And actually, if you had a closer look at this bottle, it actually says all the way around it that, to enjoy this IPA as fresh as possible, keep it away from the heat, and not to age it, to drink it right away. So that's what I'm doing. It's only 9 days old. It's a great beer. I'm glad FedEx shipped it back to me so quickly. I just got it in the mail yesterday, and enjoying it in the glass that I got this a while back from a friend. But if you're ever out in the area, definitely stop into the brew pub. I was there twice last week. It's a great time. It's always crowded from the 2 times I was there. But you can get in, you can get a beer. They're not snobs at all. You can have a great time. So on this beer, it's right there for me. I'm not going to give it the massive rating. There's a lot of double IPAs and other IPAs that I definitely put before it, but this is a great staple for the style. Probably going to go 91, 92, in that range, 91, 92. Definitely a B plus, A minus type beer, right on the cusp there. Probably more in the A minus range. It's definitely one of the ones that I used to put a lot higher, but after you try a lot of beers, it kind of gets pushed back to the background. There's other stuff out there. Again, shipping beer back from California, there's a lot of breweries out there in the East Coast I always review right around our area that are making just as good a beer. I'm just saying that, if you're ever in the area or you have a friend out there and you want to try it, it's definitely worth your time, and their other beers are worth your time. You can get some of the American Wild Ales from Russian River in Pennsylvania. So look out for those. Definitely look out for Russian River. And enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your Friday evening. As always, drink amazing beers and drive safe. Cheers.